Hello everyone, in the previous video we have seen how to create a Hello World application using Struts 1.3. Just explains about how to redirect the request from one JSP page to another JSP page using the controller, I mean the struts config file which is part of the action servlet. In this video we are going to see how to process the request from the user or the browser with the help of action class execute method. Let's create a Maven web project first. For that, first go to file, new, other, Maven project. Don't select anything in this screen. Click next. Scroll all the way down, select Maven archetype webpack version 1.0, click next, and here keep the group name as pack and artifact name as the project name. So I'm going to do the action class example. So let's name it as action hyphen class hyphen example. Let's keep the package name as pack. Click finish. So now the Maven web project is getting generated. Once it is done, let's check the JDK version, whether it is pointing to JDK or JRE. This is pointing to JRE, so but we need the JDK, right? So let's remove it. Add library. Next, JDK system library. So I already added the JDK system library to the Eclipse. That's why you are able to see that here. So let's click on finish, apply, apply and close. Okay. Next step, we need to add the state specific dependencies in this project. So go to pom.xml, go to source folder, and we need to add these three dependencies. Under dependency section, we need to add these three dependencies. So Control A, Control Shift F to format. So the first one is the Java X servlet -API. This is servlet specific dependency, not related to the struts. Struts core and struts stacklib, these two are specific to Strut 1.3 framework. Okay, so now we are done with adding the library which is required for our development. So now next go to web.xml file. So web.xml file is located at source, main, web app, under web.inf folder. So it contains nothing. So let's add this encoding version and XML namespace for this web application. So once it is done, let's go ahead and create the welcome file list. I explained about this welcome file list in the previous video. You can take a look at this video if you are not aware of the reason for creating this welcome file list. So let's specify the JSP page which has to be loaded at the very first time after the server restart. So it is index.jsp. So after that, so we need to specify the servlet and servlet mapping. The servlet name will be action. We can give any name here. Servlet class should be action servlet, and we need to map the URL pattern mapping to this action servlet which is acting as a controller. That should be specified inside the servlet mapping tag. Servlet name, nothing but action, and then URL pattern. URL pattern is star.2. It means the request which ends with this .2 that should be processed by this action servlet which is controller. And one more thing is we need to specify the configuration file which is test config file. So for that we need to add another tag called init param. So inside init param we need to have the two other tags. One is param name and another one is param value. Param name should be config and the param value should be the path of the struts config file. The struts config file we haven't created it, that we are going to create in a moment. So it should be like web-inf slash struts hyphen config.xml. Okay, now let's create the index.jsp file. So I think we already have the index.jsp file. So in this program, we are going to redirect the request from one JSP page to the action class. So we need to add the JSP forward tag here also. JSP forward path equal to slash input.do. That's it. Let's create the struts config file. It should be placed under the web-inf folder. Go to web-inf folder, new file, struts config.xml. Finish. Let's add this XML encoding type which is UTF-8 on the tag type in the struts config file. Struts config is the root tag for all the tags that we are action tags that we are going to specify inside this struts config file. And now we are good to create the action mappings. Action mappings. Inside the action mapping tags, we need to specify all the request path on the corresponding action classes. So in this example, this index.jsp file will forward the path with the name input. We need to handle that request in the action. So action path equal to slash input, and then we need to specify the action class, right? The action class should be specified under the type variable name. Okay, so we are going to create the action class after this. So let's have the action class name as hello action. We need to specify the class name, the action class name, along with the package specification. So pack that hello action. Okay, in the very first video, I mean the introduction of the steps flow of execution video, I talked about the action class, because what is the purpose of the string which is being written by the action class. So that logical string will be written from the action class. We need to handle that action string also in the action mapping. So in the introduction video, the very first introduction video in the Struts 1.3, in the Struts 1.3 introduction video, I explained about the action class and the execute method. The execute method will return the logical string back to the controller, and based on the logical string, we will be decide what we need to do with the request, whether we need to forward the request or control to the another JSP. So based on the value of the logical string being written by the action class, we need to specify to which JSP page it has to be redirected to. So in this example, consider it is returning the logical string as hello. So it will be like forward name equal to hello, path equal to hello.jsp. Also, we need to specify the type of the scope. So in this example, we are going to keep the scope as request, and then we need to close this action path. So now we are good to create the action class. So let's create the action class. So for that, we need to create the package first. So all the Java related components we have to create under Java resources. So go to Java resources and then source main Java, right click new package. Let's name it as pack. Under that, we need to create a class, action class, right? So right click on the pack, new class, hello action, finish. So it is a simple Java class, right? We need to make it as a struts specific action class. So for that, we need to extend this class with the action class. This action class is part of the struts framework, org Apache struts action. This action class will have the execute method. We need to provide the implementation for the same. Let's select the second one. So this action class has four input parameters: action mapping, action form, HTTP servlet request, and HTTP servlet response. So action mapping it helps to create the logical string and that is being written back to the controller class. The action form, this is for retaining or holds the form related information. We are going to see about this action form in the next video. This HTTP servlet request is nothing but the request parameters, which hold the request parameters, and the HTTP response is nothing but the response object that we return back to the user. So this is the action class, right? So once the request is redirected from the controller class, from the controller class to action class, this execute method in the action class will be get executed. So let's put system out dot println in this action class, and then let's return the logical string return mapping dot find forward hello, because this is what we specified in the struts config file, right? If the forwarder name is hello, then it should be redirected to the hello.jsp file. Okay, now let's create the hello.jsp file. All the JSP page should be created under the web app folder. So source main web app new JSP, give the name as hello, next, finish. So here we need to hello Java stack. Let's close the tag. Okay, now let's run the program. Click on the project, right click, run as, run on server, next. So let's keep only the action class example project here, finish. Yes, we need to restart the server. We got the output, right? Hello stack. And also the action class, the string what we printed in the action class also we are able to see it in the console. So let me explain the whole flow. I mean, when we restart the server or start the server, that time this application will be loaded into the server. That time the servlet container will refer to the web.xml file. In the web.xml file, we specified the welcome file list as index.jsp. So first the index.jsp file will be rendered to the user. It has the JSP forward, which redirects the request or control from this JSP page to the another. This is going to be the request. So it will go to the controller. The controller is nothing but the action servlet and config file. This config file will have the mapping between the request and then the corresponding action class. And here, right, in the JSP, the index.jsp is returned the path as the input. So for this path, the control should be forwarded to the action class. This is the action class. The execute method in the action class will be get executed, and it is printing the string like action. I'm in the action class, and then it is returning the logical string as hello. In the struts config file, I already specified for this hello logical string where the control should be forwarded to. So it should be forwarded to the hello.jsp file. So next, the control will go to the hello.jsp. In the hello.jsp, we are printing hello stack. That's it. Okay, friends. So in the next video, we are going to see what is the purpose of having the action form, and how to pass that HTML form data to the action class, and how to process or how to retrieve all the form data what we entered in the HTML file or JSP file. Thank you.